Hello, it's Phil coming to you from Martins Point Healthcare on the beautiful Portland waterfront. These two hives got a mite treatment a few weeks ago, and so this is a late summer inspection to check on the queens, make sure they're still doing well, check on the hive's health, and also see if they're making any progress on harvestable honey for the fall. It's the last week of September. It's a little hot, but I find that the days when I'm sweating all over the bees, they're really generally pretty nice to me. So we'll hope that's true today. I haven't really gotten to know these hives. We just took over managing them this midsummer. So I'm gearing up more than usual. Until I really get to know their personality, I don't really want to find out if they're in a bad mood. What I always do is start my inspection by taking all the boxes off and going down to the bottom. This is a honey super. I can tell you most of what I know already. Feels pretty empty. Had some tricky weather this year. Been a little too hot for periods, a little too rainy for periods, a little too dry for periods. So this is nice and heavy. That's good news. That's what they're going to eat all winter, so I'd rather that be heavy than the honey super if I had to choose. These are the spent mite treatments. After the formic acid has volatilized, there's nothing left but a neutral gel. So we don't need to take these out, but we do. Get them out of the bee's way. So for a thorough inspection, I'm just going to start at the bottom of the box over toward the edge. This side's got a lot of drone brood. You see that? See how those are all sticking out kind of farther than those? That's worker brood, kind of level with the edge of the comb. There's a bunch of drones down there that's sticking out farther. See that? I call this a boys club. They want to have some drones, make them feel good. They don't do much for this hive. Drones are just going to fly around and look for another hive's queen and mate with her. They just hang around here eating the food from these girls. So we're checking the brood pattern. Can't really tell. This has been sort of hatching out and been being refilled with nectar. But it's a good amount of cap brood. That's going to make for a good population. Growing. Everything looks healthy so far. When we look at the capped brood, I was trying to make sure it's got a little bulge. It's a healthy, well-fed baby in there that's going to hatch out sometime next week. I'm looking at the bees. I don't see any bees with any symptoms of disease, any deformed wings, stunted abdomens, greasy thorax. There's all kinds of things that we're always searching for. Looking after their health. This all looks good. You just have to take my word for it. If I happen to find the queen, I'll try to get you a view of her. And I may mark her with a little spot of white paint. The spirit moves me. When I go silent, that just means everything's fine. That's good news. Now we're going over into the food stores. They've got a nice big store of all sorts of different colors of pollen in there. I don't know if you can see that in this light. There's orange, yellow, white, other orange. A lot of goldenrod out there blooming right now. That makes a ton of orange pollen for these babies. That's their protein. Build strong bodies. There. That's a mess. Here they started building drone comb kind of off the frame, making a mess of things. I'm going to move that to the outside and take it out next spring. By March of next year, there's nothing going to be on this bottom side. They'll have moved all the way up. That's when it's easier to pull out the mess. Those drones are going to hatch out and they'll just start filling that up with honey. Make a nice big honey wall. One thing I'm doing in my head is quantifying things. That had 6 frames of capped brood, mostly capped downstairs. That's going to hatch out. Slowly the colony's going to move down from up here, go downstairs for the winter and have this all full of honey for the food source. Over here on frame number 2, there's still a mess of brood. So this hive's got a lot of brood in it. They've all moved over to the side of the hive like that. It means they've got a lot of strength and vigor. It's not resulting in any surplus honey. That's what life does sometimes. I'd rather have strength and vigor than honey to eat. Take care of these bees' health. They'll make honey eventually. Here we got some nice baby bees hatching out. Let's see if you can see this. This is one of my favorite things in the world. See here at the corner of my hive tool, there's a little bee. Get out of the way. See how she's hatching out there? Can you see that? She's going to chew her way through that cap. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes. Other bees will come and give her a little food. Then she'll come out and get straight to work. And then over here, there's some young bees that have just been here for, hatched out for half a day or so, and they're kind of young and skinny and fuzzy, and I always look closely at those little ones and make sure that they have fully formed wings, fully formed abdomens. They don't have any signs of health. If it starts to represent in your young bees, that's a red flag of a problem. But so far, everything I can see in this hive looks tremendously healthy. A lot of beekeepers and curiosity seekers always want to find the queen. Honestly, that's kind of the last of my concerns. I can tell there's a queen in here who's doing a heck of a job. That's a beautiful frame of capped brood. That's going to be 7,000 extra bees when this hatches out in the next 12 days. So she's doing a great job. If I see her, that's lovely. I'll mark her, maybe. If I don't see her, that's fine too. So beekeepers, don't worry too much about finding your queen. Just find out she's doing a good job. Bees are in a good mood. It's a beautiful day. You can smell nectar in the air. Bringing in nectar, lots of pollen. They're healthy, happy. They love when it's hot. Oh, there she is. Well, I'll be darned. She's already marked. Talassa must have marked her. See her? She's a good-looking girl. Marked with, I can't tell if it's white or yellow. I think it's white. I think she's a born this year queen. I gotta check up Talassa. She was looking after these hives for the longest time. Move away. I like a hive I can work barehanded. Got a hive at home, it just won't let me do that. They're always in a bad mood. Gentleman over there just noticed I'm talking to myself. I'm actually talking to the camera. I'm not crazy. You want to come and see? Hold on. I'm back. Got to meet one of the nice doctors here at Martin's Point and show him a few things about the bees. I find everybody's a little bit curious. Most people. So what I found is 6 frames of brood in the downstairs and 6 frames of brood in the upstairs, and a good supply of honey surrounding all of it. That's good news. That means this is getting ready for winter. They don't have any harvestable honey up here in the honey super yet, but they've got about 3 weeks left where they might be able to do that, so fingers crossed. But I think this may be just a hive that we're going to look forward to what they can do next year. Over here on the left, this hive sometimes, I've been told, has a bit of an attitude, so wish me luck. Hives with an attitude sometimes make a lot of honey. It's one of the challenges. Less much in that. Oops. It's also much stickier. In my experience, sticky hives are healthier because propolis is a big part of their immune system. They stick everything together with, but it's also antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. Good for them. Good for you too. Nothing much happening on that frame. Yeah. I'm going to just err on the side of caution and put on the gloves. They might not mind my hands, but I don't really want to find out today. I got stuff to do. Much rather work without gloves on because, as I mentioned before, I don't like when it's so hot. So humid, my smoker doesn't want to keep going. That may prove to be a problem. Nothing on there but some drones. There we go. That's not on your side. That's your side. Brood now. Finally some lovely looking cat brood. Looks very healthy. I didn't look closely at the larva on the other one, but there's some larvae in here. Before they're capped over, we want to make sure that they're nice and chubby and shaped like a C, pearly white. Those are all signals of good health. Took them a few minutes, but this hive is starting to get a little louder. Starting to buzz around my veil and bounce off it. That's them telling me they're running out of patience with me. Boys Club. See all those drones? If you look closely, the bees on this frame, a lot of them big eyes, big fat fuzzy abdomens. Those are your drones, you lazy boys. They like to hang around together. What are you doing today? Nothing. I'd imagine if they had little bee cigars, they'd get them. So again, I've gone silent. Just looking through, the brood looks healthy, the larva looks great, bees look good. They're just a little more attentive to me than I find comfortable. But that's a beautiful frame of brood there. Very healthy bees. Vigorous population. That's what I want to see this time of year. Just lots of that, ready to hatch out, make the population to go get all the fall nectar they can, store as much as they can for winter. It's the name of the game. I wish you could smell it over here. It smells so good. There's just this kind of a brown sugar caramelly smell. That's a lot of knotweed is blooming. Goldenrod's blooming. Purple loosestrife is still blooming. Every hive is going to be a little different. This hive on the left tends to always be stronger than the one on the right. They've always been a little bit of a laggard. But interestingly, they have, at this moment, a larger brood nest than this one. And no surplus honey. This one has a honey super that feels like it's about ready to harvest. Down. I want to smoosh you. They don't listen. They were building this, so example. About a month ago, the whole box was like this, brand new, what do we call foundation wax. So while they haven't finished storing any honey in here, they have finished building lots of comb. See how that's built out comb now. That's all they do with this box. That's going to be a big help next year because they won't have to build it again. They can just fill it up with nectar. Nice and sticky. broke. They'll fix it. Over here you can see they're filling that up with some of that dark fall nectar we get. It's not technically fall yet, but we'll harvest that in the fall. Usually a little after Labor Day. Be storing more on this side. So we'll move this unfinished one over there. They'll work on it better. While they're still building comb, I like to make sure these frames are nice and cinched up. Gives them that bee space. They're going to build on one comb and then on one frame and then the next. They won't build too much in between because they want to have that space to move around it. I'm not going to inspect this. It's just about 3/4 full of honey. I can tell by because I lift these a lot. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great weekend.